Well, at least the curse is over.
Hawks' alternating win and loss streak finally comes to an end after about a month, as they will go on their first losing streak since the beginning of the season, since Derek King took over, as they lose 3-4 in overtime to the Dallas Stars in this one. This team got off to a horrendous start. The fact that they got it to overtime is nothing short of a miracle. This game got off to an awful start. They had a terrible first period overall, but in the first 10 minutes, they let in two power play goals to the Stars, both going for Joe Pavelski. The first one, Seth Jones knocked it in past Lankinen. It was going to be a perfect pass to Rupe Hintz, who probably would have banged it anyways. So Joe Pavelski gets the notch there. And then it's a perfect pass from Hintz right to Pavelski just a few minutes later for another power play tally. And it's 2-0 in the first 10 minutes. Through the first 15 minutes of this game, the Hawks were outshot 14-1. 14-1 in just 15 minutes of gameplay. The Hawks surrender 14 shots, but the offense gets only one shot on net. That is abysmal. And you're already down 2-0 at this point. I mean, that's probably one of the worst starts I've seen this team get off to this season. They've had some really awful starts to the season, but I think this is the first truly terrible start since King took over. And just about 50 minutes in, after it's 14-1 in shots, they finally get an odd man rush, and they finally get a good shot on net, but Ottinger makes a very, very nice save, crossing the crease to rob Dylan Strome. And, well, the Hawks actually had a chance to put in a shot on just their second shot of the night to cut the lead in half, which would have been unbelievable to get that goal. But Ottinger makes the stop, and the Stars lead 2-0 at the intermission. In the second, the Hawks had the power play, and this was a fantastic play. Hagel moves into the zone. Eric Gustafsson trails a little bit, so Hagel gets it right to Gustafsson, and all the while, Kane's moving up to the goal line here, and he passes it. Gustafsson gets it over to Kane, who then fires it right to the wide open stick of Alex DeBrincat, backdoor, wham, into the net, and the Hawks cut the lead in half. I don't understand. This is how a lot of our power play goals have been scored. Kane across the crease to DeBrincat, just backdoor on a tough angle, and he just somehow is able to score so many of these goals. It's weird. But you know what? It's a power play goal, and it's a goal nonetheless. So we'll take it. If teams are not able to adapt and they can't read that, and DeBrincat's going to continue scoring them, then why stop making those plays? That was just the Hawks' sixth shot on net of the night, and the Stars have already cracked 20 shots. It's so lopsided. The fact that it's 2-1 with that sort of shot disparity is crazy. Literally right off the faceoff after DeBrincat scores, it goes right in the Hawks zone, and there's a battle near the corner of the net, which Jason Robertson emerges from, and he puts a backhander ping off the post and into the net. And literally not even 15 seconds after DeBrincat makes it a 2-1 game, the very next shot goes right past Lankinen, and it's 3-1. Look, Kevin Lankinen had his moments last season where he looked fantastic, but man, this year he has just not been looking good. Man, I mean, if you think about it, if we didn't get Fleury in the offseason, this team would be dead in the water with Lankinen starting every night, with then probably Colin Delia backing him up now that we traded away Malcolm Subban. About a minute and a half after Robertson scores, Caleb Jones gets a clearing pass and a lead pass up to Brandon Hagel, who now has an odd man rush, 2-on-1, gets a pass over to Dylan Strome, and he fires it past Ottinger, and it's a one-goal game again. Dylan Strome getting the notch with the assist from Caleb Jones and Brandon Hagel. And see, this is just Dylan Strome's third goal of the season, which is honestly the most shocking part about this. He was scoring machine, especially in the front half of last season, but he slowed down at the end of last season, and he's been cold this year so far. But Glad to see him put in a big goal that we needed. Crazily enough, the Hawks have scored twice in under 10 shots. It's a one-goal game, and we go to the third period. In the third period, about 12 minutes in, 8 minutes left in the game, Jones gives it to his brother. And Caleb tries to get a pass, but it's picked off by Rupe Hintz, who then tries to clear it, but gets a kind of fans on the clear, finds the stick of Brandon Hagel, and he throws it on, and it's tipped in by Dominic Kubalik, and the game's tied at 3. And at this point, the Hawks, instead of now being outshot like 3-1, they're only being outshot like 2-1, and somehow this game is tied despite being doubled when it comes to the shot counter. Kubalik's 6th goal of the season will force this game into overtime. About halfway into overtime, the Stars get a power play, and Hintz has it at the blue line after Klingberg kind of circles around him, drops it off for Pavelski, who then gets it back to Hintz. He gets it back to Pavelski, and then a cross-ice pass to John Klingberg. And at this point, Kevin Lankinen bites on that second dish to Pavelski too much, and he's too far out of his crease, and he's got to do, again, another of his best impressions of diving, his best effort. But again, it's no use. Klingberg gets the overtime winner, his first of the season, and ends the game. Lankinen bit too much on that Pavelski possession, and with the cross-ice pass, there's nothing Lankinen can do. He's too far out of his crease to get over and make a play. He's been exposed for this several times this year already. So this one, it's just, well, if it happened again, they exposed him for this, and well, we paid for it. So Derek King's win and loss streak that's been going on for nearly a month has concluded with now his first losing streak as a head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks, though this losing streak does come with 2 points in the standings, as both of them were overtime losses. So the Hawks get a little bit of a break, a couple days off, then we come back home to play the Florida Panthers and stay home to play the Dallas Stars again. And then it's Christmas break in the NHL, and we return to action against the Blue Jackets, which is the front half of a back-to-back, the next game being the Jets, which then would take us into the new year, which starts off with the Predators on the road. So hopefully the Hawks can find a way to correct this 2-game losing streak quickly against one of the best teams in the league in the Florida Panthers. I don't know, man. I don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah, that's the bottom line. I mean, they did beat the Capitals twice, but then again, that was also probably due to the fact that it was a win-loss streak. That obviously is now over, so I would not be surprised if this team goes on a 3-game losing streak with a loss against Florida. So yeah, the year's coming close to an end. 2022, hopefully it holds some good things for the Hawks and they can turn this ship around, get back on a winning streak that can help us get us closer to that 500 mark, which you need to cross if you want to make the playoffs. So Florida and Dallas, the last 2 games before Christmas break, and that's going to end things for me here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more content, and I will see you guys next time.